Good morning, this is Emily coming at you live from my front porch. I'm going to be filming a Vinyasa flow yoga class. Oops. And I'll be doing my best to film that here from my front porch without any fancy camera work or crew, just using my iPhone, the old iPhone SE. So hopefully you can see me. I want to do a practice with some twisting and some work, and then I want to add a little bit of Pilates towards the end so that we can strengthen the inner and outer thighs, and so that we can then go into a nice hip stretch. All right, so I'm going to take off my shoes now, and eventually I will take off my jacket, but never fear, I won't go any further than that. So just sitting up nice and tall, I'm in crisscross applesauce or easy pose. Just close your eyes and let's start out connecting with the breath. Yoga breath is in through the nose and out through the nose. But you can certainly breathe through your mouth if your nose is a little stuffy. The important thing is that you're trying to bring that breath just a little bit deeper. Deep breathing helps calm down the nervous system and get oxygen to your muscles. So all that stress that we face on a daily basis, you can just breathe, and it'll help to calm your body down. All right, open your eyes, and we can do some more of that at the end. I'm going to stretch out through the neck, so I'm just going to listen to my left shoulder. Up through center and over to the other side. And back to center. Now I'm going to give myself a big hug. So opening my arms wide, I'm going to cross, this time the right arm's over, the left arm's under, chin is tucked. This provides a good stretch for the upper back and for the back of the neck. All right, bring that chin up to neutral and let's switch arms. Open up big and cross. Left arm on top. And release, bring your right arm up, and we're going to twist over to the right. Sorry, I went to the left. Now over to the right. And coming back to center, I'll probably move my camera here so you can see more of me. I'm going to be doing some cat and cow stretches on my mat. Now these can be done seated, or you can also do them from a four-legged position. So I'm going to first show you the seated version, if I can get my camera working here. There we go. Okay, I think you'll be able to see me here. Maybe not. Oops. Jeez Louise. Here we go. Okay, I think you'll be able to see me. All right, so from the seated position, if your legs are in crisscross applesauce, you'll have your hands on your knees. And I want you to inhale as you round. This is the opposite that I usually do. And exhale as you open, look up. Inhale, round. exhale, look up. I'm gonna come onto my mat now on all fours. And I like to use a rolled up bit of the Costco microfiber towels. I don't actually like them for cleaning, but I love them for under my knees. So with my knees on those towels, I'm on all fours. I'm gonna inhale first by rounding, coming into cat. And then exhale, look up, cow. And then keep going. And I'm hoping I don't get rained on here on my front porch, but if I do, we'll kind of scooch over underneath the awning. All right, I'm just gonna shake my tail here and then come back into child's pose. So I'm gonna come back, bringing the hips back towards the heels and stretch out my arms. All right, now I'm gonna do a little flow. This may not work for you, so if this doesn't work for you, you can continue with the cat and cow stretches. I'm gonna rock all the way forward, keeping my knees down, and then lower my hips, come into cobra, and then come back to child's pose. Be careful if you have lower back issues here, because this could aggravate those. But if you don't have lower back issues, it feels really good. So if you do have lower back issues, please modify by doing more cat and cow stretches. So I'm just rocking back to child's pose and then bringing my hips forward, coming into a low cobra. And I'm gonna finish up here, just lowering down a little bit, holding my arms here to work the back of the triceps. And now I'm gonna stay in child's pose. Come back and just hold this pose for a little bit. All right, let's rock back forward to all fours. And this part you may not be able to see as well, so hopefully I can describe it for you. I'm gonna bring my right leg back to hip height, keeping those hips squared down. And I'm gonna point my toe. And now I'm gonna tap that toe and lift back up to hip height. I'm not opening all the way up and turning to the side, just bringing it up to hip height and down to engage through the glutes. The gluteus maximus is one of those muscles, but there's actually a few. The gluteus maximus, gluteus minimus, and then I forget what the other ones are called, but there's several muscles that wrap around your rear. And we want them to be strong to help support your back. Sometimes you can have knee issues if the glutes are weak. Causes all kinds of problems. So working the butt isn't just about how you look in your jeans, it's about how you feel on a daily basis. So tap down and lift. I'm still moving here. Tap and lift that right side. All right, now I'm gonna lift that leg up to hip height and bend the knee so you can see my foot back here. So the knee is bent and I'm just gonna pulse it up and down. Pulling the belly in to help protect the spine. And after this, before we go over to the other side, we'll take a little break. But if you're already feeling too fatigued, feel free to come into child's pose a little bit early. You want to work in yoga to the point of fatigue so that you get stronger, but never to the point of injury. And only you can know where that is in your body. Okay, so still pulsing here. All right, let's lower that knee down and we're gonna come into child's pose. Give those buns a rest. All right, inhale, rock forward. Let's get that other side. So extend the other leg out, and again, you want your hips to be square. So you don't want to be opening up to the side like this. You want those both hip bones like headlights facing your mat, and you want that leg just in line with your spine, okay? The foot is extended out, and you're gonna tap and lift. Lower and lift. Keep breathing. And at first, when you start to practice all these cues I'm giving you, you probably won't be able to do every single one, and that's okay. Just try to do what you can, and as the practice becomes more natural, it will be easier to follow my cues. So pull that belly in. Just tapping and lifting that toe. Just bringing it up to hip height. All right, bring that leg up to hip height. Now you're gonna bend the knee, and I'm gonna move over a little bit so you can see my foot. And we're just gonna pulse that leg up and down to work those buns. Keep breathing, pull the belly in. And if you start to feel any pain in your back, please come into child's pose. We don't want to aggravate any injuries or cause any issues in your back. We're trying to work the glutes, not aggravate the back. All right, release that knee down, and we're gonna press back, taking another little break. So now, we're gonna come up onto our knees. You can hear my neighbor singing. You are going to rest your knees on those, on that cushion if you have it. If this is not comfortable, you can come into crisscross applesauce. And we're gonna open the arms and make like goalpost arms here. Now close your arms. Sorry about that. My phone keeps saying low power mode. Okay. Don't worry, I have it attached to a battery. So keep those arms together and see if you can lift those elbows up a little higher. And now releasing, I'm just gonna twist over to the right, or sorry, to the left, I lied. And now I'm gonna twist over to the other side. I'm just bringing one hand to my back and the other to the outside of the knee.
Hey, little princess. What you doing?
And now coming back to center, you can come back into this arms crossed over, Or you can come into the modified with the elbows together, or you can take the right arm under and around for eagle arms. And release, and I'm just gonna shake my hands out, and then I'm gonna switch sides. So again, you can do a modification here, or you can do the full pose like I'm doing. And release, let's shake it out, and we're gonna make our way to downward facing dog. So let's walk those hands forward. We're on all fours now. Curl the toes under and lift the knees up and press back for downward facing dog. Now I'm gonna walk it out. Just pedaling my feet here, getting a stretch in the back of the calves. And you want your weight to be back in the hips here. If you're too far forward, you're gonna put a lot of pressure on your wrists and shoulders. So if you have to bend the knees, do that, but try to have your weight in the back part of your body rather than all in the wrists. When I first started practicing, I thought, oh, yoga hurts my wrists. And some of it was that my wrists weren't very strong, but some of it was that I was doing my down dog like this instead of like this. All right, bend your knees, inhale, look forward, and I'm gonna tiptoe up to the top of my mat, but I'll come back a little further so you can see me. Inhale, circle sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, flow down. Inhale, look up, hands on shins or towards your mat. Exhale, release. And I'm gonna stay here in this forward fold for a little bit, just nodding my head. Turning from one side to the other. And now circling here. And other direction. And bending my knees, I'm gonna circle sweep, inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. I'm gonna lose my jacket now. So I'm gonna rock a little bit back and forth on my feet to kind of wake those feet up. One of the benefits of yoga is that because it's barefoot, it really strengthens your feet. Pilates is the same, and so is ballet and modern dance. Wearing shoes all the time is not good for you, unless your doctor told you to. It's good to strengthen the feet. All right, so settling in, I'm gonna relax my toes, pull my belly in, bring the shoulders down, and lift through the crown of the head. And I'll continue with my sun salutations. Inhale up, exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, release. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. And I'm gonna come into plank pose from here. So bending the knees, I'm gonna walk the hands forward, bring the toes back, and rock all the way forward. You can drop your knees here as I'm doing, or leave them up. and then lower down. Untuck the toes, inhale, lift up, back to cobra. Exhale down, curl the toes under, and lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Let's walk out that dog one more time. We'll do a few more of these sun salutations, and then we're going to move into the warrior part of our workout. All right, bend your knees, inhale, look forward, and on your exhale, hop or step all the way up. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, look up. Let's come into plank again. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Rock your way forward, keeping the knees lifted if you're able. I always lower mine. Lower down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up. Low cobra. And let's just take a little break in child's pose before we move further. So bring those hips back towards the heels. And now rock forward, curl the toes under. We're gonna come into downward facing dog. So lift the knees up and press those hips back. Inhale the right leg up, trying to press evenly into those front hands. And on your exhale, I'm gonna step all the way up. If your foot doesn't quite make it, just grab the ankle and help it up. So this first one, I'm gonna come into a dragonfly twist. So from this low kneeling lunge, I'm gonna peel one arm up. Looking up towards the sky if you can. Nice deep breaths. And release. And now I'm gonna step back and make my way back to downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. And again, exhale, step or help forward. You're in a low lunge here, and you're gonna peel up the left arm. This is called dragonfly twist. It's one of my favorites. And release down. Let's make our way back to downward facing dog. So step back. And bring the hips up and back. Inhale the right leg up again. Exhale, step it through. This time we're gonna step all the way up to a crescent lunge. So sweep up, back heel is lifted, shoulders are down, belly is in. Pinkies are facing towards each other. If this is too much, you can lower down and you can do a kneeling lunge. Okay, from here, I'm gonna come back down, sweeping the arms down and make my way back into that twist. So peeling up, oops, I always wanna overextend and open all the way back. You wanna be pretty parallel here. I always have to correct myself. And release down. I'm gonna stay in this low lunge, and this time I'm gonna come back up. This really strengthens the body to keep lowering and lifting in that lunge. Shoulders down, belly in. Everything's engaged here. Except your face. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. Right, I'm gonna come to chaturanga here. So exhale, bring the hands down, step back, rock forward, lower, untuck the toes, inhale, lift up, And lower down, curl the toes under and make your way up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Step it through. Same thing on this side. Feet are pretty wide here at opposite edges of the mat for balance. And shoulders down, belly in. Deep breaths here. See if you can relax your jaw, relax your forehead. And even though you're working a lot with the lower body, see if you can find ease in the upper body. All right, come down and we're gonna twist up and open. Fingertips straight up, one long line from the hand that's on the mat to the fingers in the sky. And release down, and now I'm going to come back into that warrior pose. So engaging with the front leg, sweeping the arms up, shoulders down, back into the crescent lunge. Back heel is lifted. Feet are about as wide as my hips on my mat. Breath is deep. All right, sweep down. We'll do another flow here. Step back, rock forward, lower the knees, lower the body, untuck the toes, inhale, lift up. And let's take a little break in child's pose. Press up and back. All right, let's do that again on both sides. So rock forward, curl the toes under, lift the knees up, and press back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, sweep up. Shoulders down, crescent lunge. Feet are about as wide as your hips. Hips are facing forward, shoulders down. I'm going to come a little lower here. All right, sweep down, peel up with that right arm. And lower down, coming back into that crescent lunge. Oops, a little unsteady here. And now I'm going to do some lunges, okay? So I'm going to drop the back knee almost to the ground and lift it up. So I'm tapping that lower knee on the ground and lifting. If this is too much, just make your lunge a little bit shallower. You don't have to go down and up as far. All right, for the last one, I'm going to lower down and untuck that back leg and come into a kneeling lunge. If this hurts, you can put more cushioning underneath that knee. That should help. All right, I'm going to sweep down, curl the back toe under, lift the back leg up, step back, inhale, rock forward, exhale, lower down, untuck the toes, inhale, low cobra, and make your way up and back. Downward facing dog. Other side now. Inhale that left leg up, exhale, step it through, making your way up, getting your hair out of your face, shoulders down. And again, hips are forward, your stance is nice and wide. If your stance is too shallow, the knee won't be above the ankle, and that can hurt your knee. So you can always adjust and step forward or back if you need to. All right, now I'm gonna come into my twist. So sweeping down, peel up. And now release down, coming back into the crescent lunge, lifting up and lowering the shoulders. And now we're gonna do some lunges. So lower, tap that knee, and lift. And on the last one, I'm gonna lower down, untuck the back toe, and just stretch out through the hips here. Shoulders down. Use your breath here. It helps you relax, and it helps you while you're working keep that feeling of calm. All right, let's sweep down, curl the back toe under, lift the back knee up, step back, rock forward, inhale, exhale, lower down, untuck the toes, lift up, low cobra, and let's make our way up and back to down dog. Let's do one more on each side. So inhale the right leg up, exhale, step it through, sweep up, crescent lunge, feet are hips width distance and they're nice and wide on your mat. The front foot at the front of the mat, back foot near the back of the mat. I use most of my mat and I have really short legs, so you probably use all of yours. All right, sweep down. We're gonna peel up here. Dragonfly twist. Whoops, adjusting. And release that hand down. Let's come back up into our crescent lunge. And now I'm gonna do a few kneeling lunges. 10 actually, that's not a few, is it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm gonna untuck that back toe and stay here opening up. And if you wanna take this deeper, you can reach around. This actually doesn't work very well for me, but try to show it. Putting cushioning underneath that knee. Oh, I can do it. Reaching around for that back toe. This may not be available to you, and that's okay. For me, it's only possible with cushioning underneath the knee. All right, let's release. Bring those hands down, step back, rock forward, lower, untuck the toes, inhale, and then one more side. Press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward and adjust a little wider. Okay, sweep up. And your transitions probably won't look the same as mine because your body's different from mine. Okay, now I'm gonna come down, following the breath, and peel up, dragonfly twist. Release back down, come back up into crescent lunge. And now I'm gonna do some kneeling, lower and lift. And actually I like it being able to tap my knee down on that rolled up towel. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then last one, I'm gonna drop down, and you can just stay here, bring your hands to that knee, or if you're a little more flexible, you can put some cushioning underneath your knee and lift up that back toe and reach around for it. If this is your first time practicing yoga, unless you're 11 years old, that's probably not gonna happen. But if you've been practicing for a while, you'll be a little more flexible. All right, let's make our way into child's pose. So bring both those knees down. Let's press back and do a little breather here. All right, walking those hands back, you can come into sit on your shins here, or if this doesn't work for you, if this is uncomfortable, just unravel and come into crisscross applesauce. But I'm gonna stay here on my shins because I'm flexible enough to sit this way. All right, now we're gonna stretch out through the upper back again. So making those goalpost arms, you're gonna either hug yourself or bring the forearms together, or wrap the right arm underneath the left. And we're just gonna hold this and get a nice stretch through the upper back. All right, let's release, shake it out. And we're gonna do this, open up again and either do the same thing on the other side or just the same thing. So wrapping around with the opposite arm if you're wrapping. And release. All right, now we're gonna come into bridge pose. And we're gonna do some bridge work that's gonna help tone the buns. So I'm gonna move you around so you can see me from the side. Remember, we talked about it's not about how the buns, it's not just about how the buns look. That's just icing on the cake. An important part of doing this kind of work is to develop a healthy, balanced body. So I'm gonna try putting you a little further away so you can see more of me. Yep, I think you can see me pretty well. It's not perfect. All right, so lower all the way down, and you'll just see my hips here. Walk your feet towards each other, and you're gonna have those feet parallel, okay? The feet are close enough that you can almost reach them. You could touch your heel, okay? So we're keeping those feet pretty close, okay? Keep your gaze up at the sky, and you're gonna slowly tilt your hips up and then lift those hips up underneath you, okay? Now we're gonna do a little bit more work. You're gonna lower and lift those hips. Not all the way down, just a few inches. All right, let's make this a little bit harder. So now we're gonna open and close the knees. We're gonna lower, open, lift, close, lower and lift. All right, now we're gonna do a little bit of a march. So you're gonna lift one leg up and then the other. Lift, try to keep those hips up as you march. All right, let's take a little break. Lower those hips down and you're gonna hug your knees to your chest. Just rock a little bit here. And lower one leg, and you're gonna pull the other leg towards you to get a little bit more of a stretch in the hamstring. And release, and now other side. And release. And now we're gonna work the buns a little bit more in that Pilates style. I'm gonna see how much of my body I can get in here. Okay, so I'm laying on my side. I'll show you my legs because that's more important than my face here. In a fetal position, and I'm gonna bring this front toe forward towards the camera, okay? I'm just gonna tap it down and lift. Tap and lift here. And this is working the outside of the hip because the hips are nice and square. I'm not just lifting this leg up and down. It's in front of me and I'm tapping and lifting. And this is borrowing from Pilates to really work that rear end. All right, let's lift it up high and we're just gonna pulse it up here. And by now you should really feel those hips working, okay? If you need to take a break and stretch, you can do that. All right, now we're gonna circle with that leg. And yes, my butt is on fire. If yours is not, keep doing this and I guarantee you, you will feel it. All right, take a little break. I'm just gonna kind of massage my hip here by using the palm of my hand. Okay, and since we're already on this side, let's get that inner thigh on the other leg. So taking this foot forward, you can either have it resting down on the mat and lift the lower leg, or you can do like me and have the knee up. It's just whatever feels better. This leg isn't as important, so you're welcome to bring it down if that's more comfortable. I'm gonna bring the bottom leg up and just pulse it up, working that inner thigh. These inner and outer thighs tend to not get as much work as the other muscles in the leg, but we want to balance that out by toning those areas too. Doesn't matter if the toe is pointed or flexed, but you want that leg really engaged. So either pointed or flexed, not just kind of flopping around. All right, now let's circle with this bottom leg. Drawing as best as you can a little circle with that toe or heel. And other way, and you're probably really feeling those inner thighs now. 6, 7, almost there, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's take a little break before we go to the other side. You're gonna cross one leg over the other, and we're just gonna stretch this outer hip. And now let's come forward a little bit. Just moving around. Then we'll get the other side. Okay, so again, laying down on your side. First, we're gonna bring this leg forward. Toe, your other leg is bent and the toe is out. You're just gonna lower and lift that leg. You're not lifting it very high. Just about up to hip height. And that engages that outer thigh here, the area that we sometimes call our saddlebags. This will help tone that area. All right, let's lift that leg up, and we're gonna lift it higher, just pulsing it here. I'm gonna look at the time so I don't keep you too long. Almost done. Just pulsing that leg hair. And my pulse is getting a little sloppy just because I'm really feeling that burn. All right, now let's circle. Doesn't matter which way, but we're gonna circle around with that leg. And other way. And let's release this leg. Okay, so I'm going to stretch the bottom leg long. I'm going to bring my knee up and my foot flat. You can also bend that leg and bring the shin forward if that feels better for you. Now I'm going to lift that bottom leg and just pulse up here. And my toes are extended long, but you can also flex the foot if that feels better for you. Really feeling this on the inner thigh. All right, now let's circle. So we're gonna just circle around. That's really working this inner thigh area. And other direction. And I know if you're like me, you're feeling it. In fact, I'm gonna adjust this leg a little bit here. Bring it further out. There we go. That feels better. 7. And let's come up. We're gonna stretch out that area we just worked, crossing one leg over the other. I'm gonna pull this leg towards me. And now I'm gonna lean forward just a little bit. And from here, let's come into our half pigeon. So I'm gonna move you again. Hopefully you're not getting too dizzy. Move you over here. We're gonna come back onto all fours. Okay, so from here, I'm taking my right leg and bringing that shin forward with the foot pretty close to my body. The more parallel you bring the foot, the more stretch you're gonna get. But I don't wanna overstretch, so I'm keeping that foot pretty close. And then just slowly lowering down without collapsing to one side or the other, okay? Right in the middle, just gently come down. And then if it feels okay, you can stay up higher if that feels better, or you can gently lower down. And now you get to see my hair. And we're not playing statues, so if this is hurting you, you can gently come out of it or see if you can adjust to where it feels better. You don't want to feel pain. This should feel intense, but it shouldn't feel painful. All right, let's come out of it on this side. So gently coming up, we're gonna bring this leg back, and if you want, you can come into child's pose before you come on to the other side. I'm just gonna come on to the other side from all fours. So I'm gonna bring that left shin forward, the foot is towards the body, and then just slowly ease my way down, back down onto the mat here. If this hurts to be in pigeon pose, for now just come into child pose. At the end I'll show you a different variation. See if with each breath you can release a little bit more and let go of any tension you're holding in your body. Okay, and let's come out of this. Let's just come to all fours and we're just gonna shake our tail here. And now I'll show you the figure 4 stretch that you can do if that pigeon stretch was too intense. Really good variation for pigeon is this figure 4 stretch where you lay on your back and you cross one leg over the other, and then you can just lift that leg up and reach around behind. If it's too much pressure to be in a traditional pigeon, this is a really good modification for that. And I'm gonna hug both knees to my chest, rock a little bit. And now I'm gonna turn my mat around to the side and we're gonna come into Shavasana. So you can just roll over onto your side. And then come onto your back. And you're gonna stretch out nice and long here. And I'm putting my rolled up towel underneath my neck. This feels nice. Now, in my own practice, I would just lie here, but since I'm teaching a class, I'm going to tell you a story while you're lying in Shavasana. So this is a traditional story about mindfulness. So there was a young man that was meditating. His name was Sona, and he used to be a lute player, but he had become a Buddhist monk. And every day he would meditate from dawn until dusk. But he was never achieving enlightenment. In fact, because he wasn't always stopping to take care of himself, he was often tired and thirsty, and he was growing very, very thin. And he thought, but I'm doing everything I should be doing. I'm trying so hard. So he decided to go to the guru, the Buddha, to help him. So he went and spoke with the Buddha and said, Buddha, I meditate from morning till night. What's wrong? Why am I not achieving enlightenment? And the Buddha said, Sona, because he knew this young man used to be a lute player. He said, Sona, what happens, if the lute strings are too tight? And Sona said, well, then you don't get the right sound. And he said, well, what if the lute strings are too loose? And a lute is kind of like a little guitar. He's like, well, then of course you don't get very much sound at all. Either way, it doesn't sound right. And the Buddha said, just so. They have to be just so and balanced, correct? And Sona said, aha. So in my meditation, I need to be focused, but not focused so hard that I'm trying and not stopping to care for myself. But also not too much of a slacker. I need to find that balance. And so in our lives, just like the lute, we need to find that balance between striving and finding time to relax. Sort of that Goldilocks in the middle. And that's true of mindfulness, and it's true of life. The more aware we are, the more we can be balanced. All right, we're almost done here. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. All right, let's hug the knees to our chest. Rock from side to side. You're gonna roll over to whichever side you prefer so that you're just lying in a fetal position. And now let's come to a seated position, and we'll end our practice by saluting one another. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, This is a traditional way to say hello and goodbye in India. So bringing your hands to heart center, bring your thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. I hope to see you again next week. Goodbye.